By the time most men realize their prostate is enlarged, they've been ignoring the warning signs for years. And here's what gets me. Every single one of those signs was visible, obvious even. But because nobody talks about what to actually look for, men dismiss them as normal aging. They're not. What most men think is just getting older, waking up twice a night, weaker stream, that constant low-level urgency, is actually your prostate sending you a message. And ignoring it doesn't make it go away. It makes it worse. Here's the truth. Your prostate sits right below your bladder, wrapped around the urethra like a donut. When it swells, even a little, it starts squeezing. That squeeze affects everything: sleep, confidence, daily comfort. And for most men, it happens so gradually they don't notice until it's affecting their quality of life every single day. The scary part? Most men live with this for 5, sometimes 10 years before they even mention it to a doctor. They suffer in silence. They adjust their lives around it. They accept it as inevitable. But it's not inevitable. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through the 5 warning signs most doctors don't explain clearly enough. And then I'm going to show you what you can actually do about it, without jumping straight to medication or surgery. But first, let me introduce myself. Hi, I'm Dr. Hannah Blake. Before we get into this, I want to say something directly. The fact that you're watching this means you're paying attention to your health, and that matters. I've worked with hundreds of men over 50 who came to me frustrated, confused, and feeling like no one was giving them real answers. I'm going to try to be that person for you today. So here's what you need to know about the 5 signs your prostate is telling you something, and what to do when you spot them. As always, everything I share here is for educational purposes only. Please consult your doctor before making any changes to your health routine. Picture this. It's 2 a.m., you're awake again. Bathroom, 3rd time tonight. You lie back down, but your mind is already turning. Why can't I just sleep through the night like I used to? By morning, you're exhausted, and the day hasn't even started yet. Or this. You're at a restaurant, dinner with your wife. You excuse yourself, stand at the urinal, wait, nothing. Then finally, a weak stream, slow. You're standing there longer than you should, and you walk back to the table wondering if anyone noticed you were gone that long. You're not broken. Your body is sending you a signal. The question is, are you listening? Because here's what happens when you ignore it. That nighttime bathroom run? It turns into 4 times, 5 times. Your sleep quality tanks. Your energy during the day disappears. You start planning your life around where the nearest bathroom is. Road trips become stressful. Long meetings become uncomfortable. And quietly, without saying it out loud, your confidence starts to erode. You avoid drinking water in public because you don't want to deal with the urgency. You map out bathroom locations before leaving the house. You wake up groggy and irritable because you haven't had a full night's sleep in months. It affects your relationship too. Not just intimacy, though that's part of it. It's the mood shifts, the irritability that comes from never sleeping well, the low-level frustration that builds when your own body stops cooperating. Your partner notices. They might not say anything, but they see the changes, the fatigue, the frustration, the distance that slowly builds when you stop feeling like yourself. And here's the part that gets me. Most men quietly deal with this alone. They assume it's just aging, but aging and neglect are 2 very different things. Aging is natural. Neglect is optional. What I'm going to share next explains exactly what's happening inside your body and why most doctors don't bring this up in regular checkups. Stay with me here. What I'm about to explain might change how you think about prostate health for good. Think of your prostate like a valve that sits at the base of your bladder. When it's healthy and the right size, urine flows through smoothly. No pressure, no hesitation. But after 50, that valve starts to thicken. And as it thickens, it begins to squeeze the tube that carries urine out of your body. That squeeze? That's what causes almost everything you're experiencing. Here's what's actually happening. Mechanism 1. Hormonal shifts after 50. This one surprised me the first time I really dug into the research. After 50, testosterone levels drop. That's common knowledge. But what most men don't realize is that as testosterone declines, something else rises. Dihydrotestosterone, or DHT. It's a more potent form of testosterone, and your prostate tissue is extremely sensitive to it. DHT binds to receptors in the prostate and tells those cells to grow, multiply, thicken. It's not cancer. It's not dangerous in that way. But it is growth. And when that growth happens in a space as small as your pelvis, it creates pressure. Your body is doing what it thinks it should, responding to hormonal signals. But in this case, that natural response creates problems. That pressure is what wakes you up at 2 a.m. Mechanism 2. Inflammation you can't see or feel. Here's where it gets interesting. Low-grade inflammation, the kind you don't notice day to day, quietly builds up in prostate tissue as you age. Research suggests this inflammation comes from a combination of things: diet, stress, lack of movement, even blood sugar imbalances. And inflammation causes swelling. Think of it like a low-level irritation that never fully goes away. Over months and years, that swelling adds up. The tissue becomes more rigid, less flexible. And the urethra running through the center? It gets narrower. That's why your stream weakens. But here's what most men don't realize. That inflammation isn't just affecting your prostate, it's affecting your overall health, your cardiovascular system, your metabolic function, your energy levels. The prostate symptoms are just the most obvious sign of something happening deeper in your biology. Here's a number that genuinely surprised me the first time I saw it. By age 60, over half of all men have some degree of prostate enlargement. By 70, that number climbs to nearly 70%. But most of them don't know it yet. They just think they're getting old. Mechanism 3. Bladder compensation. Now here's the part most people skip over, and it explains everything. When your prostate starts squeezing the urethra, your bladder has to work harder to push urine out. So it compensates. The bladder muscle thickens. It becomes stronger, yes, but also less elastic. Over time, that thickened bladder can't hold as much, and it becomes more sensitive, more reactive. So even when there's only a small amount of urine in there, your brain gets the signal, time to go. That's why you feel the urge constantly, even when there's barely anything there. And here's the frustrating part. Once this cycle starts, it reinforces itself. The more your bladder compensates, the more sensitive it becomes. The more sensitive it becomes, the more urgency you feel. And the more urgency you feel, the more your quality of life suffers. Mechanism 4. Reduced blood flow to the pelvic region. Most videos on this topic never mention this one. As you age, blood flow to the pelvic region naturally decreases. Combine that with prolonged sitting, something most men over 50 do for hours every day, and you get stagnation. That stagnation slows nutrient delivery to prostate tissue. It slows waste removal, and it creates an environment where inflammation thrives. Think of it like a traffic jam inside your pelvis. Everything slows down, everything backs up, and your prostate suffers the consequences. Think of it like this. Your prostate grows, your bladder compensates, blood flow slows, inflammation builds, and your sleep, your energy, your daily comfort, all of it, starts quietly slipping away. This next part is where it all comes together. Don't tune out now. All right, let's talk about what you can actually do. I've saved the most overlooked one for last. Fix number 10 is the one most doctors never bring up. But we're starting with something just as important. Fix 1. Saw palmetto extract. Most men have heard of this one, but most don't know why it works, what it is. Saw palmetto is a plant extract that's been studied for decades in relation to prostate health. Why it helps. Research suggests it may help block the enzyme that converts testosterone into DHT, that potent hormone I mentioned earlier that tells prostate cells to grow. By reducing DHT activity, many men experience less pressure, better flow, and fewer nighttime trips. How to use it. It's typically taken as a supplement, usually 320 milligrams daily. But here's the key. It's not a quick fix. Most men notice gradual improvement over 4 to 8 weeks. I had a patient who added this one thing for 3 weeks. He came back and said he hadn't slept that well in years. Fix 2. Reduce inflammatory foods. This one sounds simple, but it's powerful. What it is. Certain foods quietly feed low-grade inflammation throughout your body, including in prostate tissue. Why it helps. When you reduce chronic inflammation, the swelling in your prostate can decrease. That means less pressure on the urethra, better flow, less urgency. The biggest culprits? Processed sugar, refined carbs, fried foods, excess red meat. How to use it? You don't have to go extreme, just start reducing the obvious ones. Swap white bread for whole grain, cut back on fried snacks, add more vegetables. Your prostate, and your overall health, will respond. Fix 3. Pelvic floor exercises. And this is where most men get it wrong. What it is. Your pelvic floor is a group of muscles that support your bladder and help control urination. When those muscles weaken, urgency and leakage get worse. Why it helps. Strengthening the pelvic floor gives you better control. It reduces that constant need-to-go feeling. And it improves your ability to fully empty your bladder when you do go. How to use it. Kegel exercises aren't just for women. Contract the muscles you'd use to stop urination midstream. Hold for 3 to 5 seconds. Release. Repeat 10 times. Do this 2 to 3 times a day. It feels awkward at first, but the results, better control, less urgency, are worth it. Quick question. Drop a comment below and tell me where in the world you're watching this from. Seriously. It genuinely means a lot to see men from all over taking their health this seriously. All right, let's keep going. Fix 4. Lycopene-rich foods. Most men never hear about this next one. What it is. Lycopene is a powerful antioxidant found in tomatoes, watermelon, and pink grapefruit. Why it helps. Studies point to lycopene's ability to reduce oxidative stress and inflammation in prostate tissue. It's been linked to healthier prostate size and better urinary function in men over 50. How to use it. Cooked tomatoes are one of the best sources. Think tomato sauce, tomato paste. The cooking process actually makes lycopene easier for your body to absorb. Aim for a serving or 2 most days of the week. Fix 5. Limit caffeine and alcohol in the evening. This one's tactical, and it works fast. What it is. Both caffeine and alcohol irritate the bladder and increase urine production. Why it helps. By cutting them out after 4 p.m. or 5 p.m., you reduce nighttime urgency. Your bladder stays calmer. You sleep longer stretches. How to use it. If you're used to an evening beer or coffee after dinner, try switching to herbal tea or water. Most men notice fewer bathroom trips within just a few nights. One man in his late 60s tried this after years of ignoring it. His words, "I wish someone had told me this 10 years ago." Fix 6. Zinc. Pay close attention here. What it is. Zinc is a mineral that's highly concentrated in prostate tissue. Why it helps. Research suggests that adequate zinc levels support healthy prostate function and may help regulate cell growth. Many men over 50 are quietly deficient and don't realize it. How to use it. You can get zinc from foods like pumpkin seeds, oysters, and beef, or take a supplement, typically 15 to 30 milligrams daily. Just don't overdo it. Too much zinc can interfere with copper absorption. We're not done. What I'm about to share in fixes 7 through 10. These are the ones most people never hear about. Stay with me. Fix 7. Regular ejaculation. Let me be clear about this. What it is. Regular sexual activity or ejaculation, whether with a partner or alone. Why it helps. Some research suggests that regular ejaculation may help flush out inflammatory compounds and support healthy prostate function. It's not a cure, but many men report feeling better overall when this is part of their routine. How to use it. There's no magic number, but consistency matters more than frequency. What feels natural and comfortable for you is the right answer. Fix 8. Stinging nettle root. This is one most doctors overlook entirely. What it is. Stinging nettle root is an herbal extract that's been used in Europe for decades to support prostate and urinary health. Why it helps. Research suggests it may help reduce inflammation and improve urinary flow, especially when combined with saw palmetto. Some studies show men experience better nighttime sleep and less urgency. How to use it. It's typically taken as a supplement, around 300 to 600 milligrams daily. Like saw palmetto, it's gradual. Give it 6 to 8 weeks. I've seen men come back after 2 months and say they finally feel like themselves again. Fix 9. Omega-3 fatty acids. This one flies under the radar. What it is. Omega-3 fatty acids are anti-inflammatory compounds found in fish oil, flax seeds, and walnuts. Why it helps. Chronic inflammation is one of the main drivers of prostate enlargement. Omega-3s help calm that inflammation system-wide. They support healthy blood flow. They reduce oxidative stress. And many men notice improvements in urinary symptoms when they increase their omega-3 intake. How to use it. Eat fatty fish like salmon or sardines 2 to 3 times per week, or take a high-quality fish oil supplement, typically 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams daily. Look for one that's tested for purity and heavy metals. Fix 10. Daily movement, especially walking. This is the one most doctors never bring up, and it might be the most important. What it is. Regular daily movement, particularly walking, for at least 20 to 30 minutes. Why it helps. Sitting for hours reduces blood flow to the pelvic region. That stagnation increases inflammation and worsens prostate symptoms. Walking reverses that. It gets blood moving. It delivers oxygen and nutrients to prostate tissue. It helps flush out waste and inflammatory compounds. Research also suggests that men who walk regularly have lower rates of severe prostate symptoms compared to men who are sedentary. How to use it. Start with 20 minutes after dinner. Walk around your neighborhood. Nothing intense, just consistent movement. Over time, work up to 30 to 40 minutes most days of the week. Micro-story insert. I had a patient, a 64-year-old man who spent most of his day at a desk, who started walking every evening after dinner. Within 6 weeks, he said his nighttime trips dropped from 4 to 2. He said it was the simplest change he'd ever made, and one of the most effective. If you've made it this far, you're already doing more than most men ever will, and that matters. Before I wrap up, there's one more thing I want to cover, because most videos on this topic leave it out entirely. The 3 mistakes that make prostate enlargement worse. These are the things I see men do over and over, without realizing it's working against them. Mistake 1. Holding it too long. When you feel the urge to go, you go. Don't hold it. Holding urine for long periods puts extra pressure on an already stressed bladder. Over time, that bladder loses elasticity. It becomes weaker, and the urgency gets worse. I know it's inconvenient. I know you're in the middle of something, but your bladder doesn't care about convenience. It cares about pressure. And every time you hold it, you're making the problem worse. If you need to go, go. Your bladder will thank you. Mistake 2. Not staying hydrated. This one surprises people. Some men think, if I drink less water, I'll need to pee less. But concentrated urine actually irritates the bladder more. It makes urgency worse, and it increases the risk of infection. Your body needs water. Your kidneys need water. Your bladder needs water to dilute urine and reduce irritation. Drink water throughout the day. Just taper off a few hours before bed. Mistake 3. Sitting for hours without movement. Here's the interesting part. Prolonged sitting, especially in men over 50, reduces blood flow to the pelvic region. That stagnation can increase inflammation and worsen prostate symptoms. Stand up every hour, walk around, stretch, keep the blood moving. Your prostate isn't just sitting there isolated, it's part of a system, and that system needs movement to function properly. Let me ask you something directly. Have you ever noticed your symptoms get worse after a long day sitting? Drop it in the comments. Let me tell you about a man I'll call Robert, a 61-year-old retired teacher from Ohio. He came to me after 2 years of waking up 4 times a night, every single night. He was exhausted, irritable, and his wife was starting to worry. "Doc," he said, "I just want to sleep through the night again, just once." Robert had tried ignoring it. He'd tried cutting back on water before bed. Nothing worked. He told me he'd started avoiding social events because he didn't want to deal with the embarrassment. He'd stopped going to movies. He'd stopped taking road trips with his wife. His life had quietly shrunk around this one problem. So here's what we did. First, we added saw palmetto and stinging nettle root to his daily routine, not as a miracle cure, but as gentle, research-backed support. Second, he cut out evening caffeine and alcohol. That was hard for him at first. He loved his nightly beer, but he committed. Third, we worked on pelvic floor exercises, just 10 minutes a day. He did them in the shower so he wouldn't forget. Fourth, he started walking every evening after dinner. 20 minutes, nothing intense, just consistent movement. After 6 weeks, Robert came back. "I slept 5 hours straight last night," he said. "I forgot what that felt like." By 8 weeks, he was down to 1 bathroom trip a night, sometimes none. His energy came back, his mood improved, and his wife told me later, quietly, that she had her husband back. He started taking road trips again. He went back to movies. He stopped planning his life around bathroom locations. I share this not to make promises, but to show you what becomes possible when you take the right steps consistently. So here's what we covered today. Number 1. The 5 warning signs your prostate is enlarged. Frequent nighttime urination, weak stream, urgency that won't quit, difficulty starting, and that feeling of incomplete emptying. Number 2. What's actually happening inside your body. Hormonal shifts, inflammation, bladder compensation, and reduced blood flow working together to create pressure and discomfort. Number 3. 10 natural, actionable fixes you can start today. Saw palmetto, anti-inflammatory foods, pelvic floor exercises, lycopene, limiting caffeine and alcohol, zinc, regular ejaculation, stinging nettle root, omega-3 fatty acids, and daily walking. And number 4, the 3 mistakes that make it worse. Holding it too long, not staying hydrated, and sitting for hours without movement. You're not slowing down. Your body is asking for a different kind of attention. And now you know exactly what to give it. As always, talk to your doctor before making any changes. This is about working with your healthcare team, not replacing them. If you learned something useful today, hit the like button. It helps this channel reach more men who need this. I post every Tuesday and Friday. Subscribe and tap the bell so you don't miss the next one. And here's my question for you. Which of these 5 signs have you been ignoring the longest? Drop it in the comments. No judgment, just honest conversation. In my next video, I'm going to cover something almost nobody in this space is talking about yet. The one nighttime habit that's quietly destroying your testosterone levels after 60. You'll want to see it. I'll see you there.